And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing FortressCraft Evolved. So this is the Mega Factory in the new patch. And I know the last episode was finale, and I just want to do a couple things with this episode. Namely, I want to show off the new Quarry. I worked yesterday on getting a new Quarry going, and I'd like to show it off. So it's better to do that with a world that's set up. So the new Mark V Quarry is a monster. This thing, Mark V Quarry, right here, it is a multi-block quarry, and it is a beast of a machine. So I have the quarry built, and let's see. The next thing I want to do is I want to grow using Tricky's Void Hopper. You can see feed hive equals true. I want to grow this thing with an insane amount of material. I want to grow it with all the construction paste I have. So, well, whether this works or not, I do not know. But let's see what happens when we feed this thing 44,000 blocks all at once. Now, only a fifth of these, so about 10,000 blocks, will actually be used to feed it. But that should be a lot. Oh, it's only going to be 100 at a time? Well, we've got to make that a little bit better, don't we? So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 10,000. 6, 7, 8. Let's go 9 that way. And we're going to go this way with this side. It's like that. And now, with that done, let's set it up. There we go. Now we're feeding it really, really fast. I hope. Not seeing any changes. This is set. Feed hive equals true. So far, it's not doing anything. So while this is doing this, I'm going to run over here. So yeah, this is still going strong. Yeah, it's probably gutted down there, so it has to fill in where I've been mining it first. So I want to actually build this new quarry out here. So let's show you what this thing has to offer. And let's see if I can find it. I know it is... let's see. Mark V quarry. That's 2 Mark IV quarries. Why do I have those? What? I have 27 of those. So where are they? I know there it is. Okay, so showing this off, the first thing I want to do, there's the setup I had before. So I'm moved way over here. And I want to first set up 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's set up some. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And a little thing here. Let's drop that down. Actually, it's only 2. And that should clear that out pretty fast. Yeah, that should clear it out really fast, actually. I know the sound only plays a few times, but we've gone over that. There we go. So, we're going to need a huge battery to feed this. So I've got another Mark V. Because it's multi-block, it can actually use more power because there's more faces on it. There it is. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can hear now there's a sound effect with super build. And the world's is generally brighter, so it's a little bit easier to see. So with this, I actually want a reactor down here a little bit. Because this thing is going to be able to move a lot more power. So there's one there. I want to get these set up so they start charging. They start charging the thing. Okay, we want... I'm going to put the fuel in here. So you can see the overheating warning. But it's producing a lot more power. You can see 200,000 power per second with each of these. So it's a lot of power that you can generate in a short amount of time if you watch it. But you gotta watch it because it gets down there a ways and you will run into major problems. And I don't want it to explode, so I'm gonna dial that down. So with this charged, now let's build the actual machine here, the sweet Quarry, if I can find where I put it. Right there. So now, because it's a multi-block, there's no way to save the direction that you're pointing when you build it. Trust me, I worked like hours and hours on that. So what you can do once it's built, look for where this thing is. This thing tells you where it's going to dig. So you can hit R to rotate it to where you want it. So now it's going to dig right here. That is fine. And you want to do that before you feed it chevrons. Before chevrons, rotate it how you want. Now this thing is so customizable and so versatile that you can really mine a lot. You can mine up to 8 things, including hardened resin, the stuff we have over there, and uranium. So if you have the nuclear reactor mod, you can use this thing to mine uranium. Now it also goes all the way down. You can build it all the way down to the toxic caves. You can build it above 900 depth. And so you can really kind of pinpoint where you want it. It'll dig to your 4 ores, all that kind of stuff. So we want to feed it chevrons. And I think there they are. Crafting. Now it'll outline where it's going to dig. And the dig size, I have the default is 9. But you can make it as big as you want or as small as you want, as long as it's an odd number. So we feed it chevrons. There it is. They're going to build just like a regular quarry. All the way down. And now it's ready. So the default ores that this thing digs up is just coal and resin. So I highly encourage you going in to the config file and setting the ores that you want. The config file has a comment in there that tells you all the valid numbers, all the valid values. So for now, we're just going to have a hopper on it just in case it runs into something. Oh, let's put a couple on there. Because I want this thing, and it does use quite a bit of power, and the power is based off of what you're digging. So garbage, it defaults to 50 power per block. Ore is 100 power per block. I think anything that it really can't dig, which is I call very hard, is 1500 power. And finally, we have resin. Digging resin is 2000 power per block. And let's see, what other one is there? Uranium, I think, is 1000. So if I want another one there, I can put something there and there. So one. Oh, am I out? Oh, I've got him. So, like I said, this thing is a multi-block now, so it can actually push. You can push a lot of power into it, which is why I built it in the first place. As I mentioned in previous episodes, I wanted a solution to the limited quarry size. And I want to get this power up and running before I kick this off, just to show. Okay, that's done. I'm going to put a freeze on in there. Freeze on in there. And nuclear power in each one of these. These should start charging up. All right, now I need some output onto this thing. Now you can push so much power in. There's no limit on how much power you can push into it. The limit is how many faces you cover with that. So I want to destroy ignored ore just like the Mark IV, and then we're going to start it. Now it starts digging above it a little bit. So if it doesn't start digging right away, that's why. You can see -2, -1, it's going to start digging these, and then here it goes. Now, the laser on this beast right here won't fire until it hits an ore that it mines, and then you'll see it fire. Otherwise, this is just too fast for it. I mean, it's doing about 16 blocks per tick. So you 16 times 5, and there it hits coal. So you can see this thing is spitting out coal extremely fast. So these are filling up with coal as this thing is digging. Yes, it's 100% efficient. And so once it starts doing this, it is super, super fast. So with this setup, you could take this setup, like, for instance, and take 3 multi-matter movers and beam stuff, beam it down a little bit, get it away, and then start offloading it, and that would work. So, if this hole, if you set the size to be bigger, this thing really, it would really look pretty impressive. So let's go check how our hive is doing, if it is indeed growing. We are still pushing material out. It looks like it is growing. I'm going to turn these off. I think we're squared away. I can break these and not be too concerned. So we're going to stop the power from going in there, and as a result, I want to make sure these are safe and secure. Like this. Just so I can get power down there if things get really bad. Because I'm sending so much power down there right now, I'm actually able to kind of keep up with it. So let's see if we can't really push it. Not sure just how good that was. So I kind of want... Can I get down? Yeah, see, I can't even get down to where the other area that I'm feeding it at. Can't even get down there. So that should run out of power very, very quickly. These ablaters and stuff are good, but boy, do they need a lot of power. And that should... Our battery should be good. All the turbines should shut down. Everything should kind of quiet down over here, and we should be able to get a bunch more growth now that we're not taking stuff out. We're still growing. Look at that. We're now above the line here, and everything is slowly pushing its way that way. I wonder how I would get down there and actually see how things are going. But yeah, this thing will feed a hive just like the Minox, and he's fixed it so it actually feeds it properly. Okay, these need to be done. These are out of power. So everything should... when you damage a hive as it's growing, it tries to fill in the area that's damaged. So yes, it's growing out back like that, but it does want to fill all of this in as well. So you can see it's growing in there. I thought I could just dump all the paste that I wanted in there. But apparently I can't. Which is unfortunate. Oh, we got a little bit of growth going up in here, yeah. Yeah, it's starting to slowly fill in. I was really hoping I could dump all of it in there. Okay, let's go check the quarry. It's probably filled up these hoppers. Ooh, that's one thing I could do. Where's a manufacturing plant? Let's see. I don't know why manufacturing plant went away. Okay. Void hopper.
Crafting.
I want at least a couple of these.
Crafting.
I'm gonna take these away, and I am gonna use the quarry to feeding hive mind. So now all the coal that's coming out of there, you can see how fast it's loading up. All the coal coming out of there is feeding that hive. That's awesome. That's one way to feed a hive fast. Use a quarry. So yeah, you can see it is trying to process through that coal. I wonder how big that coal vein is. 260,000. It's not too bad. So that would really boost this up quite a bit. Now I'm feeding a hive with 3 different ones. Ooh, yeah, we are creeping up the wall here. Yeah, it is having an impact. Feeding it that fast is definitely is being represented there. And we've got something to do with our quarry. So this is, again, the Mark V quarry. It's a multi-block. Once you feed it the chevrons, you can't rotate it again. So I can't rotate it anymore after that. I worked with the developer on actually how to get this to rotate. So I hard locked it, so once it's made, it can't be rotated again. So you couldn't accidentally rotate it as it's digging. You couldn't accidentally rotate it over here and really mess up your world. So once it's rotated, once the chevrons are in place, we are good to go. And again, this thing can farm hardened resin. And one of the things I've been thinking of is being able to reset the height. So how, you know how it says E to reset? Well, that just resets the work ratio. So that's all that does. And I was thinking of making it so hitting the reset resets its depth. So you could use it, say, I could have over here, I could have it set to a certain size to cover this area. So I have it set like back over here and have it cover this entire open area. Feed the hive a lot. And then reset the thing to dig everything else, and it would just farm the entire hive all the way down. And I mean, yeah, it would keep going. It would definitely keep going. But it would also allow you to feed your hive and mine a huge hive all at once. It would take a lot of power, but you could do it. And it would spit out the same blocks that these things move over here, the liquefied resin. So I had to actually do some fancy programming to get that to work right. But yeah, you could have a hive mining quarry with the multi-block. So that is a little peek at a little bit faster hive feeding using Tricky's hoppers. And we are really growing the hive now. Oh, this is dangerous. Never had a hive this big on any of my worlds. Any of them. But yeah, anyway, that will do it for this series. For sure this time I need to start the other series. I'm going to try to use some mutators, whichever ones kind of suit my fancy, and we're gonna still do modded. People who want an unmodded playthrough, I completely understand that. But I have played this game so much that I've had many playthroughs unmodded, and you know, the mods really, for me, this is what makes the game exciting, is individualizing it. So it's gonna be modded, and you know, I'm always very clear about where it's modded and why it's modded. But with this specific playthrough, this was a lot of fun getting all this stuff, especially the reactors, getting all that stuff up and running. But the next series will be in the new world with all the new stuff that they show. This is just the sky and everything. All the world is already generated. So the next world will feature all the new plants and the new environment and all that kind of stuff. This is just painted. This stuff is the reinforced concrete, and this is just painted black to be not as dark. All right, well, I thank you again for watching. That'll do it for this episode and this series, and I'll see you next time.